This generation is finally waking up. We're no longer eating our Cookie Crisp or pouring milk into our Lucky Charms. We're standing up to the previous generation's bullshit. We're no longer taking advice from boomers anymore. We're asking the real questions. And that's because we are the first generation in a long time who have it worse than our parents. So enough stories about how you had to walk to school every day through the depths and crevices of hell. It's time for our stories of how we have to deal with this harsh and downhill economy to simply own a living space like a home or apartment. Participation in society used to be based on an underlying deal. If you paid attention in school, worked hard, and treated people with respect, eventually everything would fall into place. Society back then had set structures which guaranteed that people who followed the rules would actually get something out of it. A home, a family, a purpose. But that's all gone down the drain. Unlike the last generations, we've been met with the biggest threat to our lives yet. Before we get into that, we need to underline some base components about what makes this statement true. Why is it that in America, it costs $250K to $300K just to own a 1,000 square foot home that's completely shit anyways? The reason why so many people are rejecting the 9-to-5 system is because it obviously isn't working. The housing crisis is insane, our immigration policy is sky high, and groceries are costing about an arm and a leg. It's been around 5 years now since COVID has happened. There should be no more excuses for this. And the economy is clearly taking a toll. We spent years quarantined like a bunch of lab rats that were successfully and unknowingly being experimented on, each from every single one of their homes. But it's not the economy that's our biggest problem. That's only a feeding factor to the bigger wheel. A wheel that's made for us to keep on spinning it. Now what is this so-called wheel? Well, it's an abundant mixture of factors that collectively appeal to the final objective, to make us work all our lives. It's impossible to present the wheel exactly, but we can find key aspects of it. You see, Gen Z is the first generation where one simple tool has been created. A tool that presents as the axle of this wheel, that every generation uses, but that only affects future generations. Remember I said society used to be based on an underlying deal, that if you gave it what it asked for, it paid you back and said keep the change, but that it's all down the drain now? But why is this, and what's the tool? Well, here's the answer. It's the internet. The internet and access to mass media from across the world has blown all of this away. Instead of one belief system dominating our lives, there's thousands of false desires for us to pick and choose instead of a consistent shared experience. We've been exposed to millions of different people's subjective views on life that by the time we were 12 years old, we have already been plunged headfirst into the shifting sea of ideas and millions of judgments and opinions about what's right and wrong, how you should act, and what's either desirable or disgusting. The internet is like the axis of this wheel. It's easy for people to retreat into this world of information, but it's even easier if you grew up in it. You see, the wheel is constantly being redesigned and upgraded. If you add a new axle to it, it'll spin much faster. If you grease it up a little bit, it'll be even more efficient short term. Now we've established what the axle of the wheel is. The internet. Now what's the grease? COVID-19 has plunged us into an immediate shutdown, and then it turned out not being as deadly as it was made out to be. We sacrificed the next generation and our future for a disease that killed less than 1% of the population. And what was everyone doing during COVID? Especially Gen Z and the younger generation? We used the internet. Millions of people started posting more, billions of people started viewing more, and quintillions of people started engaging more with the internet. The internet has used us as an experiment to gain more knowledge of how to more consistently make us use the internet. Because if we use the internet more, we're more likely to be complacent with where we're at, to work a 9-to-5 every day in order to come home stressed and release the stress by using the internet more before we restart and go to work again. An endless cycle before we retire and end up an old wrinkly hag that can't do anything before we drop dead. And that's to say if we even make it that far. So that's why I'm sick of people saying, oh, kids today just don't want to work and they just want everything handed over to them. Like, excuse me, sir, your house costed $100 in the 80s and 90s, and it was actually feasible. You may as well quadruple the cost now to even think about affording a home. I truly feel for the kids coming up and having to endure the shit we as a society have left for them. We're supposed to be building a better future for our kids, not destroying it. I can see why some people are more depressed than ever because this society entails now that you work 5 days out of the week until you're 50 or 60. And this is why Gen Z is standing up now and rejecting the system, because we're absolutely fed up with this crap and we just want an opportunity to live. We want an opportunity to flourish and we just want to make the best out of our lives. We're not asking to own a yacht or a big boat and mansion. Most of us just want a fucking roof over our heads and some food to eat. We actually want to enjoy our lives, and working a 9 to 5 all our lives is not the definition of enjoy. But yeah, I think my work here is done. I successfully presented a problem with no real answer as to how the fuck we're supposed to combat it. I think I did really good. But that's going to end this video off here. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did. I'm a brand new channel who's dedicated to providing you with all the content you'll enjoy, so every view and subscription means a whole lot to me. But yeah, that's going to do it. I'm working on the next video right now, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And with that being said, signing out.